Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Thieves Guild questline in Oblivion. In this video, we'll be exploring an in-depth look at every means of joining the clandestine group. Despite the guild's vehement attempts to remain in the shadows, there are surprisingly 3 ways to discover the secretive existence of the Thieves Guild in Oblivion. The first is simply by accident. The second involves some detective work, and the third is by a strange and little-known conversation. Arguably, the easiest or at least most stumbled-upon option to join the Thieves Guild is discovered as a byproduct of the guild's namesake, thievery. Specifically, while in the Imperial City pilfering the goods of the many citizens of Cyrodiil, you may be caught and unknowingly incur a bounty while doing so.
Filthy pickpocket, what did you take?
Which has the unwanted side effect of the Imperial Guards attempting to apprehend you.
Stop! You violated the law. Pay the court a fine or serve your sentence. Your stolen goods are now forfeit.
Opting not to pay with our blood, we instead can request to be sent to prison to serve out our sentence in full.
Serve your time peaceably and pay your debt to society.
Shortly after being released, and this may also work if we escape from the jail, we find ourselves approached by an apparent representative of the Thieves Guild, a Dark Elf agent, Mavrina Arano.
Take this. It's from a friend.
A friend? What? Glancing at the note, it simply reads, I can offer you greater rewards and less time in prison. If you're interested, come to the Garden of Dariloth in the Imperial City's Waterfront district at midnight. Present this note, and all shall be made clear. The Grey Fox. Attempting to speak to the discreet Dunmer again after she gives us the note, we'll have her claim.
I don't have time to talk.
You can't just hand me some mysterious note and not tell me what it's about. Who is the Grey Fox?
Hey, I don't read them. I just deliver them. I have things to do.
She then disappears out of sight, and our quest updates reading. I was given a mysterious note by a mysterious dark elf. It offers greater wealth and less jail time. Maybe I should check it out. I have to wait until midnight and then go to the Garden of Dariloth. The second option to join the guild is happened upon while travelling around the Imperial City, in which you may notice a lot of wanted posters around, especially in the market district where thieving is heavily frowned upon.
You have my ear, citizen.
Reading one of the posters will inform us more of this mysterious Grey Fox, his obscured cowled visage accompanying the bounty notice that reads, wanted for theft, embezzlement, forgery, pickpocketing, counterfeiting, burglary, conspiracy to commit theft, grand larceny, tax evasion, slander, fraud, perfidy, and impertinence. Description: wears a grey cloak that conceals his appearance, presumed male and Colovian. Height between 5 and 6 feet, normal weight, hair and eye colour unknown. Any citizen with information should contact the Imperial Watch Captain Hieronymus Lex. Although this Grey Fox's description could be one of any men in the Imperial City sauntering about, this adds a new topic for conversation with the residents of said city. Talking to people, they will inform the beggars are the eyes and ears of the Grey Fox.
Well met, blasted thief. I hope they string him up when they catch him. Oh, he's a slippery one, though. The beggars are his eyes and ears.
And as we learn more outlandish rumours of this supposed Grey Fox, so too do we learn of his apparent nemesis, one Hieronymus Lex of the City Guard.
He's that Imperial Watch captain that's always chasing after the Grey Fox and the Thieves Guild. Chasing after shadows, if you ask me. The Thieves Guild probably doesn't exist, and it's a sure bet the Grey Fox doesn't either. Take care.
Congruently, the feud between Lex and the Grey Fox has become public, as a crier for the Black Horse Courier advertises.
Don't be the last to read today's Black Horse Courier. Have a copy of the Black Horse Courier. It's the only way to get the real news. Feature story on the Grey Fox.
In their latest publication, it reads, Grey Fox, man or myth? Is a so-called Thieves Guild masterminding all of the thefts in the Imperial City? Captain Hieronymus Lex of the Imperial Watch seems to think so. When asked about the Thieves Guild and its mythical leader, the Grey Fox, the captain was quite emphatic. This one man is responsible for all crime in the city. The energetic and tenacious Captain Lex has therefore devoted himself to apprehending this masked menace. When questioned on the subject, Adamus Philida, Legion Commander and Captain Lex's immediate superior, had the following response. Ridiculous! The Grey Fox is just a fairy tale. There is no such thing as a Thieves Guild, and there never has been. As a quick aside, I guess Adamus Philida was preoccupied with his own nemesis, being the Dark Brotherhood threat, which we covered his violent entanglement with Sithis in full in the video linked at the end of this one. Stories of an unstoppable thief called the Grey Fox have been circulating around the Imperial City for centuries. The stories claim he can turn invisible at will, shrink himself down to the size of a mouse, turn to mist, and seep under locked doors, and perform any number of other truly unbelievable feats. If even half of these stories are true, Captain Lex will have his hands full capturing the Grey Fox. Our next lead seems to be locating the tenacious Lex, vigilantly patrolling the city he introduces.
Hieronymus Lex, officer of the Watch. Every hand is needed to build an honest city, and it begins with you.
Greetings, Captain Lex. I just read the Black Horse Courier. What's your take on this Grey Fox?
The nobility hate him, but the peasants and the beggars love him, especially in the Waterfront.
Well, must make your life difficult as a public servant.
Never compromise. Never blink. Never wink at injustice. Never quit trying to make this a better city for everyone. Long live the Empire!
Well, he seems like a nice enough fellow. He also solidified our next best lead to speak directly to the beggars, supposedly the eyes and ears of the Grey Fox. And so we head to the Waterfront district as instructed to find some beggars to question. In the midst of ramshackle huts, we locate one yellow tick-riddled puny Ankus.
One more coin, and I can get a pair of shoes.
When questioning him further, we have three options after asking, do you know anything about the Grey Fox?
Are you looking for him?
No, I'm just curious about him.
He's a fairy tale. The Imperial Watch pretends there's a thief king named the Grey Fox who controls all the thieves in Cyrodiil.
Or, yes, I want to rid the city of him.
I don't blame you. He's a menace to society. Let me know if you find out anything.
Puny retains his decrepit facade, however, when we switch gears and admit, yes, I want to work with him. Puny shows his true colors.
I think I trust you enough to tell you this secret. To learn more about the Grey Fox, go to the Garden of Dariloth at midnight. Look in the Waterfront district of the Imperial City. I can say no more. Blessings of Akatosh upon you.
As another quick aside, when donating to beggars, they use their faux decrepit voice as lambasted by PewDiePie.
Thank you, kind sir.
Here's when you give them coins.
I'm only asking for enough to... Thank you, kind sir.
Thank you, kind sir.
Blessings of the shadow upon.
For this quest at least, it seems the beggars are not mere peasants, but instead loyal agents of the Grey Fox, proving the Grey Fox may have a much more adept spy network than first realized. Our quest then updates reading. A beggar told me that if I want to find the Grey Fox, I should look for the Garden of Dariloth in the Waterfront district of the Imperial City around midnight. The Grey Fox is the only clue I have to the mysterious Thieves Guild. The third and most esoteric way to wander into the Thieves Guild web occurs far from the Imperial City, in the seemingly disconnected swampy town of Bravil, where we may hear odd rumours about one of its Argonian inhabitants.
Keep your eyes on City Swimmer. I don't know where she goes when she's not in the canals.
When approaching this teacher of sneak and self-proclaimed city swimmer for the first time, She will introduce herself with the words,
"Does anyone see City Swimmer? Is she gliding beneath the silver water? Is she creeping round a corner, hugging a wall, silent as a shadow in the dark? No, I am here. I stand proud before you, City Swimmer, trainer of the prospective sneaker, the sly sliding unseen."
Despite not being a member herself, she will provide a few useful tips about finding the Thieves Guild, if we ask. With all this sneaking, you'd make a great thief, no?
Ha! Members of the Thieves Guild in our fair town? What makes you think that? Never! Absurd! Such fine law-abiding citizens are we all.
Okay, thanks for straightening me out.
You are most welcome.
If we instead question, gosh, Thieves Guild? What's that?
Then you want to know about the Grey Fox.
Look, just between us, yeah, I'd like to learn more about the Grey Fox.
Want to learn more? Visit the Waterfront district of the Imperial City. Find the Garden of Daraloth at midnight. Then ask your questions. Goodbye.
Before we explore the Garden of Daraloth, it's definitely noteworthy to share the developers have tackled a burning question earlier than expected: the surprising identity of the Grey Fox Unmasked, which we'll cover in this section of the video. Now just quickly, this small digression regarding the citizens of the Waterfront and the Grey Fox's identity has a rather large payoff throughout the Thieves Guild questline, hence why I made pains to interrogate its inhabitants, as everyone plays a part in the web of narrative, which is, in my opinion, second to none. In fact, the Waterfront district is a nexus point linking most of the bad events in Oblivion. Now, I don't want to oversell it, but to me, it puts the writing on a whole other level. Something that you have to see to believe. So, to do so, let's first attempt to ask and answer, who is the infamous Grey Fox? And so logically, we follow our only lead to his identity, the denizens of the Waterfront district. When beginning our hunt for the Grey Fox, supposedly a Colovian male between 5 and 6 feet, we find by a makeshift camp for beggars a lone Argonian, Amuse, that greets.
"Greetings, honored friend. Well met.
When asking about the Grey Fox, he admits,
My cousin says the beggars all work for the Grey Fox. It's rather frightening. Goodbye."
Clearly not matching the description or perhaps necessary mental acuity, we leave the hapless Argonian for now. To the right of the main entrance of the Waterfront, we find the first house belongs to one Armand Christophe. Once inside his home, we spy a flawless diamond casually lying on a table to our right. Although not a Colovian, this Redguard seems largely unfazed by our intrusion, casually asking,
"Do I know you?"
Well, we were actually looking for the Grey Fox. Know anything?
He's just a name on a wanted poster. I don't trust you enough to say more than that.
Switching gears, we ask, much work going on in the Imperial City?
A little tip. People who ask a lot of questions around here tend not to be very popular. Somehow I think we will meet again.
We too get the feeling this may not be the Grey Fox, but nevertheless we will happen across Armand's path once more as we see on his bookshelf a telling copy titled Followers of the Grey Fox. Once outside, we note next to Armand's house a quaint shack, totally abandoned, for now at least. It's in the first house to our left we can bump into none other than the note-bearing dark elf, Mavrina Arano. Inside the modest dwelling, her apparent bodyguard looms.
"Uzul Grogulam. I'm courting Mavrina Arano, so stay away from her. I got matrimony on my mind."
When asking about the Imperial City, the serial coos hound continues unfazed.
"Hard to find an orc girl in this city like Uma Gramarad. Smart, tough, got a good trade, nice looking too, so I gotta make my intentions clear."
Funnily enough, Umog Gra Marad is a smart, tough bouncer at the Umbacano Manor, as Azul described.
My name is Umag Gramarad. I'm employed by Master Umbacano as a night guard.
He just left out the part where she lives with her husband, Graman Gro Marad, in the Temple District. Graman being the bouncer of the Bloated Float, with a pretty fierce reputation to boot, as heard in the Dark Brotherhood quest scheduled for execution.
I best be getting back to my watch. Hey, don't forget, we're meeting for drinks later at the Bloated Float.
Oh, I'll be there. How could I miss a chance to see you cower before that big orc bouncer?
So it's honestly pretty ballsy of Azul to attempt to make his intentions clear. Though observing the orc couple, there seems to be trouble in paradise.
It's you. Hi.
What?
And perhaps why he's moved on to an easier mark, being the cantankerous Mavrina.
Farewell.
Interrupted by our chatter, Mavrina menaces.
I'm Mavrina Arano. I persuade people.
What? Persuade people? How?
People in the city, they get stuff and forget to pay. So I help them remember. You talk to them, lean on them a bit, and they remember right away. I have things.
But what valuables does this enforcer protect, we wonder? Well, the barrel outside her home, containing gold swapped weekly for a certain dose of outlawed beverage, may be involved. But for now, we continue our search for the master thief across the way in Jer's shack. Inside, we find 2 red guards. The first to our right brazenly introduces.
I'm Jer. I'm a dip. A pickpocket. But relax, you're safe from me. You look like you might take offense. Too risky.
Oh, so there are a lot of pickpockets out here.
You have to watch out for pickpockets in the city. You'd be surprised how many waterfronters earn a good income that way. Farewell.
As we move to meet his roommate, we note another copy of the Followers of the Grey Fox.
They call me Isleaf the Open-Handed, because I'm so generous. Well, don't expect a handout from me. You certainly don't need it.
Hey, don't be so hasty. We could all use a few more coin.
I share my good fortunes with the poor and needy, and you ain't neither. Life isn't easy on the waterfront, but we look out for each other. Good day.
We then leave the clearly affiliated Red Guard duo. Across the road, we enter the all-female Bosma bunkhouse and speak first to its owner, Methridel.
My name is Methridel. I've come to the Imperial City to make my fortunes.
How do you find life in the city?
I think I'll do just fine. I'm a natural. Finders keepers, right? And I'm a pretty good finder. Farewell.
Adenrel then suddenly admits.
Sorry, I'm Adenrel. I'm discouraged.
Why discouraged? Methridel thinks that the city's brimming with potential.
Lots of us on the waterfront are down. We can't do that dungeon stuff like your adventurers. We got no money and no skills. Nobody wants us. You too.
And the final Bosma of the trio, Carwin, rustles from her slumber on the floor to exclaim.
My name is Carwin. Remember, I'll be rich and famous one day.
Oh? How does one get rich and famous in the Imperial City?
I'll get mine. Folks in this city got plenty of gold. Take from the rich and give to the poor, if you catch my drift. Farewell.
Oh, we catch a drift all right. Seems like a trio of budding Bosma burglars, but no Grey Fox. Inside the abandoned shack next door, we interrupted Dunma staring into his Redguard roommate's eyes.
Dranus Lethero. I just got back from Solstheim. Boy, was that a mess. And now I'm out of work.
Why did you end up here, though?
I signed on for the Raven Rock Colony. Went there as a builder. Hung round afterwards, but the money ran out.
Have you heard anything about the Grey Fox living in the waterfront?
Oh, he's that wanted criminal. Isn't he a master thief? I hear he's dangerous, too. I've heard that the beggars spy for him. Take care.
He is clearly just a working man down on his luck. But what about this red guard he lives with?
What is it? You can call me Halad the Outlaw, because I'm on the lam.
So you're not a worker like your friend, eh? Come to pillage the Imperials?
I helped build Raven Rock. Had a bad run-in with the law, so here I am. Pretty soon I'll head out for the Imperial Reserve, try my luck there. Good day.
These two are clearly naturally displaced in this squalid residence due to the events of Morrowind, and it's also a testament to Oblivion's writing. As Morrowind fans are aware, Raven Rock is a settlement in Morrowind's Blood Moon expansion, created by the East Empire Company. When you first encounter the colony, it is a bare patch of open snow, but as you progress, buildings are constructed and it becomes a centre for murder and intrigue. And it's also a nice nod about what happens to immigrants from Morrowind some 6 years later. Our final stop in the hunt for the Grey Fox is a hut across from Methredale's house, called the Provincial Residence. Speaking first to the female of the trio of Imperial siblings, she complains.
I'm Bronsula Provincial, and I'm so sick of that Vlanaris I could scream.
What is wrong with Vlanaris?
I've worked on the docks as long as Vlanaris, but he thinks he's the expert. He's always looking over my shoulder. Do it this way, do it that way.
Right. Do you feel safe working the docks under the watchful eye of Hieronymus Lex, at least?
He's that Imperial watch captain that's always chasing after the Grey Fox and the Thieves Guild. Chasing after shadows, if you ask me. The Thieves Guild probably doesn't exist, and it's a sure bet the Grey Fox doesn't either. You too.
Her brother then introduces.
I'm Gustav Provincial, and if you listen to that witch of a sister of mine, Bronsula, I'm also a dog and a pig.
Do you work the docks like your siblings?
I do my part on the docks, just like Bronsilla and Vlanaris. Why should I kill myself? They don't pay me anymore. For what I get paid, I work plenty. You too.
Speaking to Vlanaris, he's meant to introduce.
What do you want? Valaris Provincial. Gustav is my brother, all right, but I'm nothing like that deadbeat.
Well, your brother says he does his part.
Castiff says he works. Ha! Flies land on him, he's too lazy to brush them off. I'm sick of taking abuse for him, even if he is my brother.
Right. Ever heard of this Grey Fox?
Oh, he's that wanted criminal. Isn't he a master thief? I hear he's dangerous, too. I've heard that the beggars spy for him. Goodbye.
So now we have questioned all of the Waterfront's residents. Although the Grey Fox's identity remains a mystery, it's time to reveal who is the reported Grey Fox. Well, ironically, it is Vlanaris, who, during work hours for the Black Horse Courier...
Here's a copy of the Black Horse Courier. Identity of the Grey Fox revealed.
Divulges the promised unmasking of the Grey Fox reading. Vlanaris Provincial recently admitted to being the notorious thief, the Grey Fox. Under questioning by the Imperial Watch, he also confessed to being the reincarnation of Tibus Septim, the love child of Lord Stendar, a wereshark, and the mother of Hieronymus Lex. Only after he spent a night in the Imperial prisons was it discovered that Vlanaris had recently consumed a near-lethal dose of skooma. Vlanaris is now back home and recuperating from the hospitality of the Imperial Watch and from the close attention he received during his interrogation. He speculates that he might be able to work again in a month or two, so long as it doesn't involve walking or lifting anything heavier than a beer mug. The sometimes dock worker has sworn a solemn oath never to trifle with skooma again, and earnestly warns everyone to stay away from the Aurum gang. Skooma and a fake Grey Fox aside, we've painted a pretty bleak picture of addicts, refugees, thieves, and the unwanted being relegated to the Waterfront district, especially as this still mysterious Grey Fox is reported to protect the downtrodden. It's then we decide this Grey Fox is so well connected, we cannot even begin to pierce his veil of spies and thieves. Perhaps working with the Thieves Guild and not err on the side of the bumbling City Watch would be more beneficial, at least until we can see who is under the mask. Now, I want to say a big thank you to the unofficial wiki for being the cleanest and most reliable source of information regarding Oblivion, and truly, it just makes this video possible when doing research. If you want to stay up to date with the Thieves Guild questline, consider subscribing, and to support the channel in a more personal way, consider becoming a Patreon supporter. As always, thanks for watching, and until next time, Traveller.